If you're seeing this, it means I finally bit the bullet and decided to become a content creator. Big stuff, I know. Welcome to the channel, and today I want to talk about this this super niche little game. I mean, most people probably haven't even heard of it. It's this little game called Deltarune by Toby Fox. Sarcasm aside, I'm sure most of you, having clicked on the video, have already played the game. We all agree that Deltarune is absolutely astounding game. The world, the characters, the mystery that's being set up. However, this unfortunately is not a Deltarune Glaze video. Today we're going to be talking about something that's already been talked to death. The patching of the Roaring Night. Over the course of this video, I will be exploring the patch notes, analyzing the narrative dissonance present within the fight, and don't worry, my fellow soul slop enjoyers, we will be addressing the elephant in the thumbnail. With all that out of the way, let's talk about Deltarune. Spoilers for Deltarune, obviously. Like the whole thing, I'm going to be talking about all of it. And also spoilers for Elden Ring and the DLC. Don't LARP off my video. If you haven't played the games, go away. Some important context here for you guys. This is going to be big bad news, but I was not a Deltarune fan when the game first started coming out. My buddy and I would play it, and by that I mean he would play it, and I would watch and be very supportive. Chapter 3 drops, and he's playing through it, and I'm like, Tenna is so cool, man, this Susie girl sure is crazy, and then Ralsei's so wacky and funny, man, everything's so wacky and funny, I love this. Imagine our surprise when we get to the end of the chapter, and there wasn't a secret boss. Suddenly, a tempest. Before us stood not a funny, wacky, silly Toby Fox character, but something we couldn't really understand at the time. A super scary, screaming goat that took pleasure in beating us into the ground. We're battling this fella, and we're taking turns. We're probably passing the controller back and forth for a solid 6 hours just trying to beat this guy. My buddy ends up going home. I go to sleep in utter defeat, ashamed of myself. Pretty soon afterwards, maybe like a week or two later, I get a call. Hey man, I beat the night. Dude, congrats. I am so proud of you. And after that, I didn't hear a peep about Deltarune or the night until that fateful day. Patch 1.03. The day that changed the Roaring Night forever. Now that you've fallen into my trap and you're waiting to see if this is simple rage bait or if I'm a Boruto fan, let's switch gears and bring up another game that is very near and dear to my heart. Elden Ring. Really quick before we go any further, my name is The Drunken Driver. I'm called that because we're going to have a great time getting from point A to point B. I do not condone drunken driving. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel, and let's get back to the video. So, my dear passenger, if you have engaged with video games as a medium at all, the name From Software has almost certainly graced your ears at least once. However, if you don't know these fellas, that's alright. You know their games. When I was in high school, my other buddy, who we refer to as JR for the sake of anonymity, and so he knows I'm talking about him when he sees this. What's up, man? Me and him got into Dark Souls over a summer during marching band practice. We played it religiously, even racing to try and beat it. Bad idea in hindsight, but it was so much fun I could not give less of a shit. We ended up beating it, and I fell in love. He went on and actually did something with his life, but me? I became a gamer. I watched every VOD video on the channel. Shout out the GOAT. If you haven't bought his book, you should. I found out about the true Get Good community. I always thought it was a joke up until then. That bunch of freaks who decided the broken straight sword deserves some love. You get the point. After that, the order of exposure is as follows. Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Dark Souls 2, The GOAT, Bloodborne, and finally, the best game that they've ever made, Honkai Star Elden Ring. It was Elden Ring. When I got the news that the big ER, FromSoft's biggest game, was coming out, and that it would be open world, I about lost my damn mind. I blacked out, I was too happy, pretty sure I attacked 12 innocent people around me in jubilation trying to aggro the police. I woke up in a cell. So, the day of its release finally arrives, and I am proud to say I didn't pre-order because I'm not a true consumer. While the pre-order rewards were better than Fallout's BS from what I saw online, never pre-order anything, guys. That's a tangent for another video. I buy the game and boot it up, and I know life it. It was the only time in my life that I was jubilant to be unemployed, freshman in college at the time, because it meant that I could clock in 12 hours after class and get 3 hours of sleep to do it again the next day. I'm playing, I'm having a blast, my horse can double jump, and then I find him. It would be better to say that he was waiting for me. The one I had heard rumblings about. The Red Lion General. The conqueror of the stars. The strongest demigod. I am of course talking about Star Scourge Radahn. Now, really quick, we are still talking about early Elden Ring, okay? Less than a week after launch, I'm fighting the guy, trying to figure out why there are 50 summon signs all over the arena that exist as fodder, trying to justify that evil-ass arrow rain move, and most important, trying to hold back my primal rage when that meteor attack reared its ugly head. Radahn on launch lived in two camps within the fandom. One is that he was the coolest motherfucker in all of fiction. Two is that he was the most unfair and bullshit boss that anyone had ever seen in their entire life. Online discourse reaches the big Miyazaki, and he's like, you know what, guys? Let's give him a break. Patch 1.03, if that sounds familiar, it's the same number as the Deltarune patch. Some of you may look at this and go, oh, the driver has created a beautiful argument about these bosses, and surely this has meaning. No, my dear viewer, this is a coincidence that I find very entertaining and found out about after the fact. All that to say, this is a sign from the divine that I have to make this video. So 1.03 in Elden Ring comes out, and it is controversial. That's controversial in case the mic didn't pick that up. I'll figure that out in editing. They fixed some of the hitboxes. Good thing. I like that. I think that's good. But then they went too far in some people's eyes.
They lowered his damage output.
To put this into perspective for you, we're going to talk about Elden Ring's leveling system. For those of you who do not know, Elden Ring does in fact have a leveling system. Assuming that you're starting as a wretch, the actual level 1 class, you are starting the game with a base 10 in everything, and you can build your character however you please. The reason I bring this up is because of the unofficial level recommendation for each of the bosses based on community consensus. Side note here, if there is an actual official recommendation from Software or Bandai Namco, I can't find it. Might be because I'm in the United States of Israel. Whoa, that last line is not too popular with YouTube's clanker, absolutely awful moderation system. Really makes you wonder where all the money that this website generates goes if they can't even be bothered to hire a team of humans to do moderation, or, you know, at the very least, make it possible for creators to actually get in contact with a human when disputing these strikes. If I see anybody in the comment section below defending a company that made $60 billion in 2025 alone, just know that I know your favorite meal is boot. Enough of that, that's a tangent for another video. But back to the main topic, Elden Ring and Deltarune. Real, and I don't know, they just don't want me to specifically know about it. Pretty sure there isn't one though. If I am wrong, please correct me below. The community all banded together, and the general idea that a good level to fight the big dog was about level 70. I was going at it about level 50, and I was getting rocked. Badly. This is still pre-patch at the time of me fighting Radahn, just to clear that up. I eventually do come out on top, using all the tools I could to beat that feller into the dirt. When I won, I stopped playing for the day, and I went on a big walk. It was a good day. I hear about the patch, and I'm like, meh, whatever. I beat him. The community did not share my sentiment. Turns out people don't like it when the strongest demigod doesn't feel like the strongest demigod. Yes, for lore reasons, he's technically holding back, both in your fight, and he's literally holding back the stars. But that right there, holding back while still putting belt to ass, that's what we're talking about, man. On the other side of the aisle, you had the people, like this guy, who I have to assume is like age 12 when this was posted, but he was fighting Radahn at 25 vigor and calling him the third boss of the game. I imagine this either has to be LARP or simple idiocy because, like, I genuinely have no idea. Moving on to later down the line, patch 1.03.03, I know, confusing, comes out and Radahn's damage is restored. My king is back to his still immense strength while holding back. I am happy. Next time I fight him, he makes me eat sand more times than I can count, but guess what? Hard boss and a hard game. I'm getting exactly what I paid for. Skip ahead to the DLC. Groundbreaking in many ways, Shadow of the Erdtree was. It was the first DLC to ever get nominated for Game of the Year, because yes, it's that good. TMI, but I was going through a breakup at the time of the DLC dropping, and if it weren't for Shadow of the Erdtree, y'all might not be seeing this video. To this day, I still have vivid memories of fighting R'hllana, Mesmer, even that damn dirty pitbull they kept in Ballarat. Moral of the story is, yes, I think it deserved a Game of the Year nom. And no, I don't care that it was DLC. I mean, Astrobot still won, so in that DLC, at the very end of it, stands another. He looks like Radahn. He fights like him too, but that's not him. I am, of course, referring to the Shell of the Lion, the doomed demigod, the consort of coercion. I am, of course, referring to promised Consort Radahn. Now, I want to make this very clear. This is not a lore video. I am not a lore channel. We are not going to be going into the horribly evil and messed up stuff that Big M was doing to our boy. Yes, our boy. The lore we are going to acknowledge is that this Radahn, the final boss of the post-game, is no longer holding back. For all the Prepare to Cry commenters who were always saying, oh man, I wish we could have seen Radahn in his prime, congratulations. He's right there. Freed from his Warhammer-esque task of holding back the stars to protect the lands between, we see Radahn fight as he would back in his heyday. And honestly, I'm not sure what everybody expected. A revived Radahn with his OG greatswords and a new god on his back? Yeah, he's gonna beat you. I put exactly 48 tries into PCR, and through a combination of every cheese strat I could think of, a million rot pots, and my ever-supportive Mimic tier, I was able to bring down Consort Radahn pre-patch in regular new game, because I had heard rumblings of a DLC and I was not playing the whole game again just to stand a chance. Now, my dear viewer, I hear you say pre-patch. Good catch. I am proud of you, my dear viewer. I'm gonna give you a treat. A cookie. You already have one. You already took you a cookie. You ever try that on me again? You ever. Now on launch, I'm gonna keep it so for real. He was downright unfair. I never minded the damage. Again, last boss of the post game, he better be hitting hard. What I didn't like was how this man was pulling plays that would have had a Dark Souls fan back in the day get put into a psych ward. He moved fast, he hit hard, he could break his combos. Most fun of all, he always had that little nuke move that we all enjoyed. We, collectively, we all like that move. I love that move, don't you? Being the From Software fan I am, I never went, I think that attack might be undodgeable due to problems with its hitbox. Because I'm not a nerd. Instead, I grit my teeth, told myself that every run was a learning experience, became so depressed that it looped back around into deadly amounts of serotonin filling my brain whenever I saw his first attack coming out. Ouroboros of masochism aside, I can still proudly say that I have beaten Promised Consort Radahn pre-patch. Now comes the part of the video that's gonna get a bit confusing, even as I'm writing the script, because while I used to be an English major, I still have a hard time explaining my feelings behind this big fella right here. Simple answer? I hate his guts. After a certain point, I wasn't fighting to win, I was fighting to hurt him. The sheer grit is what got me by to my big achievement. Now, in a post-patch world, I still have no idea how I did it in the first place. So now we're all confused, because wait, I thought we were against the patches for a second there. What's going on, driver? Well, we're taking a turn for the worse. Patch 1.14 comes out. I'm going to put the wiki description of it right up here, I hope. If not, it's up there, or it's over there, or it's right here. We'll see in just a second. Maybe after this, I'll go check out that Rusty video. I'll see where he ranks the patch notes. Shout out the GOAT. I'm looking through, and I go, hold on, lower damage? That's too far. Honestly, that one is up to personal preference on just how hard you want your shit kicked in. Me, I am a huge fan of godly threats feeling godly whenever they hit me. That is also completely subjective. I am not dissing the patch note right there. However, again, post-patch, I still can't believe I did it at all, much less whenever he was harder than before. To this day, my New Game Plus file sits untouched outside his Inner Ilum arena because I have nothing to prove to that guy. I beat him, I'm happy. Now, we have examined these Elden Ring patches and how they've changed, a bit of community response, and we've been a little bit all over the place. Are you asking, my lovely passenger? Yes, Grant, I'm talking to you. How in the world is he going to tie this back into Deltarune? And honestly, I am just as curious as you are. Now, let's compare here. Radahn has a battle in the mid-game that got patched to fix some hitboxes while still retaining the original challenge of the fight. The Roaring Knight has a battle in the mid-game. Yes, I'm calling Chapter 3 the mid-game. I've already put 8 hours in. That got patched to fix some hitboxes while still retaining the original challenge of the fight. Right. As much as it pains me to admit, yeah, technically it does. Bringing it back now, I actually just got into Deltarune this year, and I got into it pretty hard, ended up playing through the whole game 3 different times. I had my normal route, I had my weird route, and I had my aborted weird route. And then I recently just deleted all those save files because I started getting really in my head about the way Toby wants me to play the game. Tricky Toby. The knight I knew in the past, the scary guy who me and my buddy couldn't beat for 6 hours straight, he no longer exists because I got better at video games. I got to the Roaring Knight, and in the year of 2026, it took me 3 tries to beat him, and I was super proud of that. Now, I would find it horribly difficult to die to the knight, I believe. Looking back at the pre-patch night fights and the post-patch night fights, you know, I really did want to say that Tricky Toby had made the fight go on easy mode, maybe he changed the animation speeds, maybe he lowered the damage, blah, blah, blah. That would have been misinformation and it would have been disingenuous. Unfortunately, I have discovered a new revelation. Number 1, the night fight is just not that hard. Number 2, both sides are lying about the fight. For the people who were saying it was too hard, nothing really changed outside of the hitbox of one attack. If you won post-patch, it means you locked in and were able to overcome it. Do not credit your success to a patch note. For the people who was saying it's too easy post-patch, same note as before, only one thing changed. While I may agree that some rough hitboxes weren't the worst thing in the world, seeing as how my buddy, who is worse at video games than I am, was able to beat the Knight pre-patch, fixing a broken hitbox is not putting the game on easy mode. For all my normal gamers out there, I don't know why gamers. For all my normal gamers out there, my hard game enjoyers, sim lovers, hell, even my Darksiders fans, that's the coolest dead IP that exists out there, we can all look at this and point our fingers and laugh and go, oh ho ho, these stupid bastards. But now comes the drunken driver's final trick. His greatest achievement yet. I will take on all hate from both sides by saying this. The Roaring Knight will not live up to the hype. Basically, my argument is this. Comparing General Radahn and Toriel, we have a pretty similar structure with the Knight presumably becoming one of the big bad threats that we're supposed to face at the end of the game. Unless, of course, Toby does some Asgore Part 2 stuff and the Knight gets third-partied by Togor or something, but whatever, that's complete speculation. Moral of the story, Radahn in his intro fight, which is hard and sets up a great idea of how strong this guy is supposed to be, and then whenever we do meet him at full strength, he like embodies that. We get to see the stuff that they only talked about in the lore. We get to see the strength of Star Scourge Radahn whenever he's not holding back, whenever he's focused on one thing, and that is having gay sex with his brother. The Knight, however, I mean, come on, we all know the consensus. Cut scene merchant. So long as we the player cannot interact with the Knight will win. This absolutely blows. The reason Radahn doesn't get slandered outside of people who suck at games, and yeah, I'm saying you suck as a gamer and as a FromSoft fan if you diss Radahn. I don't care. We fight the big R at his lowest, and he was still considered one of the hardest bosses when Elden Ring dropped. The Knight was kind of in the same category for a minute. Then, it's cutscene time. Over, and over, and over again. We get to keep on seeing him. We have to feel the Knight's presence. Oh, we have to see the Knight doing stuff. No, we do not. I want you to imagine a world where we fight Radahn in the base game, and then after that, we just keep getting these cutscenes of Radahn doing things to other characters before disappearing completely, and then he shows back up at the end as PCR Radahn. That would blow. That would suck so bad, because it removes all of the tension. Getting to see the threat move around, like, yes, it's great. I, too, have watched D&D campaign making videos. You have to have a villain who's active in the story. Dude, the Knight can be active without us actively seeing him, or her, or it, or they. There are two Knights. Overall, we don't need to see what the Knight is doing all the time, especially whenever it mashes so hard against the dissonance of knowing that I can beat the Knight. And yeah, the Knight was holding back. You know who else was holding back? Radahn. But I don't need to see Radahn post-fight go, well, I guess I gotta still be plot relevant. The Knight was still an absolutely horrifying idea before we ever got to the end of Chapter 3. Not seeing the Knight made us scared. Then we get a glimpse, oh shit, it's affecting the real world too. Oh god, Undyne's been kidnapped. Oh god, what's he doing in there? Oh. The Knight's at the church? Oh. Now he's in the flower shop? Oh. Now he's killing Flowery in a cutscene. Look, all of that stuff would be really nice and cool, especially the Flowery part, if the gameplay complemented this. For all the narrative moments, we get to see the Knight going, oh, I could totally kill the fun gang, but I won't because I need the plot to happen. We don't get to experience that power firsthand anymore. Firsthand in this sense meaning the power doesn't extend to attacking us because of whatever the fuck the Knight has going on with Chris right now. Killing us, not attacking us. Let me clarify that. Killing Flowery, which, outside of being inexcusable, Flowery's the GOAT, I don't care, does not solidify the Knight as a super real mega hydrogen bomb threat, because before they fight, the fun gang whoops Flowery. All the jokes about him gassing out on a bunch of middle schoolers before losing to a bum in a cutscene aside, the power that the Knight possesses, and for whatever reason they do possess these powers, has become a lot less interesting as we've gone on.
The Knight is the one who opens the fountains.
So do Chris and Susie.
The Knight can be anywhere, man. Sans can
can teleport, so why do we not have Sans Night theories? Also, if Susie and Chris could stop huffing glue in the back of the library for more than 6 seconds at a time, they would set up a camp outside the shelter. Who's gonna tell them to leave? Napstabluke, the only other cop, is kidnapped and in there, man. Anyway, that whole rant right there, got a little off topic, was just to say that the mystery surrounding the night is good, and the reveal, of course, will be good. I mean, yeah, dude, it's Toby Fox. It's the same guy who made Undertale, man. The reveal's gonna be good. The fight needs to be amazing, and it needs to be hard, and you need to get these darn phonies out of here. The people saying it's too easy, give them something to cry about. The ones saying it's too hard, I don't care if you paid $25. If you aren't good enough, don't do the hard stuff. The beauty of an excessively difficult boss is making you lose your will to fight, and then you still getting back up. That's what makes it cool. A shadow crystal is not the reason you want to beat the knight. If it was, then you would mod your game and you would just give yourself 5 shadow crystals. But no, you don't do that because you want to win. Good Lord. Sorry, got off topic there too. Made me mad. Look at the goat Sans, right? Beating him is its own achievement because if you win, he loses. Shocker. He wants to stop you. He wants you to stop fighting. He wants you to give up. That's the whole point. And yeah, there's a bunch of really cool narrative stuff about, oh, well, what was that? God, get out of my... All I know is that whatever super plot the Gassed Man and his jolly crew have, they better pull out all the stops to make sure that the Fun Gang can't interfere. The Titan fight was already far too easy, and then because of narrative stuff, I'm supposed to be scared because they're unbeatable. You know, a dead old man beat them, so not too scared. Rada. Where is your rage, Tobias? Where is your violence embedded in the code? Where is the blood you have spilt along this journey? I know you have evil in store. I just want you to know that it needs to be even worse than I can imagine. My expectations are through the roof for whatever you have to bring back for the night. Because I know you saw the slander of friend in the night. You fixed the friend part, but you haven't fixed the night part yet, so I expect a big comeuppance. Again, one more time to say, this is not a diss on Toby Fox and his style. I really like the story that he's created. This has mainly been a boss comparison with some patch analysis along with just some other stuff. Not a diss on Toby Fox or his team in any way, shape, and or form. Those guys are goated. Want to clear that up really fast. Thank you guys for listening to my very loose rant about the Knight and Radahn. If you made it this far, congratulations. I'm surprised you're so resilient against all these leaps in logic. This was mainly a video to talk about the problem children on both sides of the aisle, examine some patches, and I get to talk about my goats. In ultimo, Birdley will return as the true hero in Chapter 7, Toriel is the knight, and don't be an ass in the comments. I'll crash you later. Peace.
Driving in my car,